Well, good evening, everyone. Thank you very much for coming to North Beach First Friday. We're celebrating Gay Pride Month. Or Pride Month, should I say, Pride Month. In honor of Pride Month, I've selected 3 poems that identify as lesbian or gay. They're all very beloved poets. And so I'm going to read a poem by each one of them, and then we will move on further in the program. And first, I must find the page that I cannot find. Yes, thank you very much to Macchiarini Creative Design once again for having us, and for David Zise for doing the sound, and to my friend Colin for filming this reading every month for Alcatraz Radio. So you can see any of the readings on Alcatraz Radio. Okay. This is called Homing Instincts, and it's by Nancy Morahone, a poet from Cuba, who many of us in this neighborhood know. She's been here many times. Homing instincts. Not the sky, but its shadow lying back on the water. Not the sea, but its shadow submerged in its depths. Not the sands, but their fiery shadow. Not the friendly woodlands, but their shadow deep inside the night. Not the fire, but the shadow of its metallic tongue. Not the wind, but the damp arc of the islands. Not the ghost of the abandoned houses, but the shadow of an afterlife. Not the entire scene, just its shadow over just one rock. Not the whole dream, but its long half shadow drifting toward the start of a brief chimera. No language, but the violent or soft murmur of each word. Not all the music, but the age-old sound of a song, fixed not in our voice, but in the voice of a little girl bewitched by the magic carpet of freedom. Not the lightning bolt and the cyclone, but the lightning's shadow across the stream. Not the waterfall, but its strand of silver falling into the abyss. Not the abyss, but the leap of the tightrope walker already out of breath. Nor the palm tree on the green plain, but its solitude by the shadow of a lost manjuargar. Not the labyrinth, but its mirrors crying out. Not the downpour from the planets, but the rain ushered in by the steamy air of summer. Not the damp coast, but the shadow of the coral reef in its endless weight. Not the dagger, but the shadow of its blade in your eyes. Not the supreme being, but our loved ones, drawing their own shadow every day, casting a virgin anchor at the mouth of some port in this world at this moment. That was Nancy Morahone. And this is a poem by the poet Robert Duncan called Proofs, who incidentally, he was the founder, one of the founders of the library at the no longer around, unfortunately, New College. And this is from a book called The Opening of the Field. Proofs by Robert Duncan. For the wing of the bird read, sing of the verb part, because the clouds departing left the look of winter. For violet, read violent, following, the ridges on your face ride against my want. Omit whatever regret. After chorus 2, insert 4 lines Roman. Do you hear in words, drips in the sense shifting, teachings that are like birds in cloudy speech? The 5th line in italics, a play of birds in the empty sky. Insert need after mine is a first song. For wrong, read ring. I am tired of the images that follow me. Delete them. Don't desert me. You are so far away, dear printer, in another part, puzzling over my intention with cold fingers. Don't lose the word rose. Isolated on the page, it is not a flower, but there for an old rising. And this is called Spring by Mary Oliver. Spring. Somewhere a black bear has just risen from sleep and is staring down the mountain all night in the brisk and shallow restlessness of early spring. I think of her, her 4 black fists flicking the gravel, her tongue like a red fire touching the grass, the cold water. There is only one question: how to love this world. I think of her rising like a black and leafy ledge to sharpen her claws against the silence of the trees. Whatever else my life is with its poems and its music and its glass cities, it is also this dazzling darkness coming down the mountain, breathing and tasting. All day I think of her, her white teeth, her wordlessness, her perfect love. Next, I would like to introduce the one and only Carl Weiner, who hasn't read in quite a while, so I'm very excited to have him here.
It's a sequence plus a couple of others thrown in. All right? I've got to take off my glasses. The book I misread and failed to understand became over time the book that was read of me by the surrounding world. While I remained ignorant of its message, it completed its embodiment and legibility in and of and around me, to the degree that I was linked with the story it told in the sight of many others, even while I was deafened and blinded to it, and couldn't compass it because it compassed me. I never understood that book, nor even tried to read it a second time, but I finally accept that I'm its living text and pronouncement. I would be dismayed if even slightly grazed by the dimensions of your memory and suffering. If we made love in the open at night, the surrounding sky and stars would tend to absorb the emollient skies of your experience, but you pose an intrusive sunlit challenge, and unlike the night, are no kind of refuge or solvent. My sense of you is that you were always left to gird yourself alone, and this is why I read grim solitude of you sooner even than grandeur. I thought maybe love poems would be subversive because you can't find any love anymore. Years from now, I will stand alone in desolate clarity with the forested darkness dreamed by Watteau behind me as the sign that I am an emergent wretch. I will proclaim the new world I face, undepicted, untrammeled, and vast, in front of me, and you will not be there. Okay. Thank you. It's gracious of you. Suffering deepens and beautifies me, but when it strikes, there is no rescue or escape. I am shut in the witness of the furies I deny, but who inhere in my rage. They are undeniably mine. To oblige them, I have to swear myself to strict isolation, again, for all the reasons I am used to think of. My inner screams are one phase of this recurrence. The other is the cold peace that I derive from my defeats. I choose to stand in your accusative gaze, the obdurate face you turn to me in mistrust. You look out of the beauty you inflict, witness my unreadiness, and recognize that you are not anodyne. You made me consider and suffer, and for this I thank you. This, by the way, this sequence in particular, is unabashedly or unashamedly woman's work. This is woman's stuff. And I promise you, I can tell you how and why. Just as you, in your hurt, are my conduit to love, I will then be the sign of a more broken, modest, and disabled approach to the earthened world, because I was broken by you to begin with, in the way that fire breaks dry branches. It isn't likely my name will be named in the recitation of all you gave me to deservedly suffer. It suffices me to be assumed in the refrain, Ikameni. I have my friend Peter to thank for my accurate pronunciation of that. I don't know ancient Greek. Ikameni means the burnt ones, and it was the title of a short story collection by Patrick White. With the doctoral knowledge of each other, we are still strangers and traitors, even to ourselves. I have feared oceans enough to compare their violence and breadth to the ignorance that owns and occludes me, and then also the wilderness, where my devotion to you will always be tested, follows corrosion and ruin. See how this suggests immensities which serve as a sign that there is too much of you for me to compass, and after all is said and done, you look on alone and unconsoled. Thank you. The swipe gestures of cirrus clouds in the empty sky suggest distance in time and space, therefore how long it will take me to prepare for you. Think of Aztec couriers who had to cross a many days or weeks distance with news of approaching danger. I have the empathy of their breath. I need to stress that the way to you is longer than my life and arduous. These damn pages, In the optative tentative verb tense I use to inoculate but also to torment myself, I get ready to face you. During the years under your aegis, I have second-guessed my inspirations so many times that they were just as quickly silenced. What can't you have already heard? Supersession is absurd in your light. I abandon all coquetry. Without our ever having conversed, I will or won't have been found to be worthy of you. Then these are the two that are extraneous, kind of. There's this epigraph that I'll read in its original language, which is Norwegian, but don't worry, I always take care of my audience, and you'll hear it translated at the end. I always take care of my people. Welcome. The angel will come, and flykting krysser sitt spår, and the author of that is Aksel Sandemose. You left the heavy atlas open on your desk, I now understand, to amuse yourself at my appetitive gaze, as I admired the rivers and roads I mistook for anabases and invitations. The angel will come with the strength of arms to close the tome that helped you to the grand refrain of your life. A fugitive crosses his tracks. And this is the last one. I had hoped it was ballad-like, but I flatter myself. Okay. The Noon and Midnight Lady. When I overhear, "Get out!" from that apartment at the bottom of the well, 4 or 5 floors below, I figure it's the Noon and Midnight Lady, since that's when her exasperation with the men in her life tends to peak. For years now, I've known her as a voice, commanding exits in no uncertain terms. Erupting on the stroke of 12, give or take, she gets into these ballistic, truculent, and eloquent tantrums, mysteriously in sync with solar and lunar apogees. What did she ask King David in the movie King David? She asked him, "Do I please you?"
Once again, that was Carl Weiner. And next, we're going to have a little departure here from our usual program, and we're going to hear some comedy appropriate for the Pride Month by Richelle Slota. Please welcome Richelle.
Testing. Yeah, that's great. Hi, my name is Richelle Slota, and I hope to make you laugh. Here goes. I spent my entire life sitting in the Disneyland parking lot, afraid to go in. My God, if you're sitting in the Disneyland parking lot, you gotta go in. Well, finally, I went in and bam! Oh, Disney magic. Thank you, Tinkerbell. I'm no longer a lost boy. Just an old woman living in Genderland. Genderland, it's next to Fantasyland? Oh, just kidding. There's no Genderland. Disney won't do that till they put a Planned Parenthood on Main Street. So that's the Disney version of my life. Now I want to tell you a more realistic version of my life. Back in 2019, back at the very start of my transition, the Supreme Court moved to throw transgender folks out of the military. Back then, the place that I was absolutely terrified of most on this planet was the San Francisco VA hospital. There's no way I'd dress female there. Yes, you heard right. I'm a military vet. Military vets, men and women, are some of the toughest people there are. They'd kill me. But then the Supreme Court threw transgender folks out of the military, and my anger overcame my fear. I did my hair, makeup, put on my best dress, took the bus to the VA hospital, found my military bearing, slowly strolled the central corridor front to back, back to front, chin held high, looking my fellow vets square in the eye. Somehow I was still alive. Uh-oh, here comes a hulking beast of a man dressed in head-to-toe camo who looks like he just got off the plane from Afghanistan. He's walking over to me. He's putting out his hand. He's saying, "Hey, ma'am, thank you for your service." Not dying can be an exhilarating experience. I'm not a drag queen, but I tried drag racing once. Fuck, it hurts running in high heels. Republicans are banning drag queen performances for children because they say it's too sexual. I'll tell you what's too sexual. TSA pat-downs. TSA, the Transportation Security Agency at the airport, the people that make you miss your plane. The TSA lady points at the screen at my groin and says, "What's that anomaly?" Yes, I say. Some transgender folks have dicks. We're maybe dicks. Can anyone tell me the number one cause of child death in the USA? And I'll give you a hint, it's not drag queens. And it's not transgender folks. Guns. So that's what's a lot of what's going on is it's just a smokescreen, so we don't have time or energy to talk about what's really killing children. Why did the trans man only eat a salad? Why did the trans man only eat a salad? Because he was a herbivore. Did you hear about the team of transgender transgender superheroes? They're called X-Men. So I have had some great experiences coming out to my friends. Here's a true story. Only in San Francisco. My next door neighbor was selling her unit. I came out to her and she said, "Oh, wow, this is San Francisco. I bet this increases my property values." Only in San Francisco. And this may be my favorite story. I overheard my upstairs neighbor trying to explain me to his 9-year-old son. He was anxious that the son not freak out the next time he saw me. The son interrupted the dad, threw out his arms and said, "Transgender? That's awesome!" So that's the kind of world I want to live in. That kid's world. Thank you. You've been a wonderful audience.
And Richelle Slota. Thank you, Richelle Slota. Next, please welcome Scott Byrd.
Jessica gave me the idea earlier. We're celebrating at the Coit Tower Poetry Club up on the hill later on Robert Duncan and Denise Levertov, who had a really wonderful poetic and loving friendship for many decades. But I wanted to read a little bit from Robert Duncan as well for Pride Month, especially because many of you might know that he wrote a very pioneering essay in 1944 called "The Homosexual in Society," which really was probably at least 10 years before its time, if not 20. And he really talks about the taxonomization of the queer community and of community in general. I really scorn, as a queer person, the idea of the LGBTQIA. Not any one of us is an acronym, a letter in an acronym. I love the idea of the old Irish phrase, "'Tis not but queer as folk." Human beings are queer. I love the word queer for that reason as well. So let's remember this Pride Month to kind of try to get away from the taxonomization. Find your tribe, which is right here between Byrd and Union on Grant. This is just a small section of Robert Duncan's poem, Night Scenes. And in what tempers restore that current, which forth flowing goes, a wholeness green lovers know, as each in a fearful happiness sees resolute eye in which opposites spring twinned forthright. A light toward the knotted sky, the knotted tides of dark, into the tenderness of the crown, night's dominion, I saw the prince of morning fall, opening in a fucking door of Eros. And from the beast a man that was day came, shaking my heart like a storm in old trees, saying, "Attendant, the maiden hours dance with tambourines and tiny bells, circling slow down to ecstasy." I was looking for you for a cue there, Jessica. I mean, I could read that stanza again if you would like. Tambourine, there it is. Time in the folds of their skirts motion sways as if from center, that is female. There, beginning at 4 o'clock in the morning, breasts, undulating belly, thighs, and the inner temple of durations. Les charmes dissolves apace, and as the morning steals upon the night, melting the darkness so their rising senses begin to chase the ignorant fumes away that mantle the clearer reason, sweet Ariel song the body hears in the mother tides of the first magic. Where the bee sucks there, in the airy springs suck I. There, where does the bee sip? Harvest that honey in that beehive. In a cow's lips bell I lie at the ledge. Youth spurts at the lip of a flower, lifts lifeward at 4 o'clock in the morning, stumbling into whose arms and whose mouth, out of a slumber sweetening, so that I know that I am not I, but a spirit of the hour descending into body, whose tongue touches myrrh of the morgenrot, as in the cow's lips bell, as in that moment that comes when Ariel, all joy round, but we see one lover take his lover in his mouth, leaping, swift flame, abiding sweetness in the flesh, fatigue spreading back, a grand chorale of who am I, who he is, where we are, in which a spin spire of longing perishes, this single up fountain of a single note, round which the throat shapes. I think it was Harvey Milk that said that they can't know us until they know one of us. When they know one of us, they know all of us. And he encouraged everybody to come out to your friends, your neighbors, your family, your mother, your dog, your cat. In this Pride Month, what we really need to focus on are the rights of transgender Americans. I think that's generally well known in the city and county of San Francisco. It needs to be spread a little further east, so let's put it out on the wind. Don't wait until a trans person is in your life to start caring about trans issues. And you could take from me, my youngest sibling, formerly born as Angel, now taking the name Milo, a younger brother that I did not know that I had. This is a poem for him, Angel de Milo. I am fixated on this thought and the elixir swirl of Rilke telling me that the angels are both beautiful and terrifying, and remembering my own womanhood that lifts its veil to the worlds beyond this one, and seeing them do battle with 17 eyes, sexless. They have no recognizable form to us, yet we know that they go to war on our behalf, even in the dead of midnight day. And how you now embody the love and the life of a third son, born 1 second after grief, and earned these wings folded round your shoulders, an iridescent cape, who always fought forth with your own war-torn spirit for those being maimed in the guerra espiritu. You were named at birth for the true smile, your weapons being a rain of voice, soft-spoken, that this life may tear your arms off, and that is the price we pay for wearing the spectrum on our face. As you glance down into still pools of water, see you swimming in those eyes that see through me lines on brown brow, and know that love comes stern and smoke hoarse sometimes. You go down beneath your sea and still find love sunk there. Dig, dredge, follow it to the end of your flesh. Thank you.
So once again, thank you, Scott Byrd. And now we're going to close out this evening with some few songs by Beauty. Please welcome Beauty. And I think it looks like Richelle is appropriating my tambourine to play some percussion. So please welcome Richelle as well, once again.
As well. My Beauty. I just moved here to San Francisco, and didn't take long. Here I am wearing a dress, high heels, and wigs. Having a regular hootenanny with my life, I have to say. Got invited by Jessica to come here and perform for y'all, and I'm really pleased to do it. I am a Buddhist drag queen. That could be meaningful if y'all poets kind of like thought about what does Buddhism rhyme with? Nudism! Thank you, my friend. Should I streak around the block? Now that wouldn't be scary for kids. That would be scary for all of you. I'm going to do 2 songs. The guitar is not my first instrument. Yeah. This is a song that I wrote. It's called The Window Song. Oh, window, another summer in the snow. Another soldier sold on a gold road to my princess in the sky. Oh, window, another heart too cold to hold. Another insane tale to be told to my princess in the sky. How do we live when we know how to fly? All of your friendlier friends say bye-bye. The reason why is that you're 3 steps ahead of me. Oh, you know what you know, but I only see what I can see. 3 steps ahead of me. Yeah, you know what you know, but it's gotta be what it will be. Oh, window, another letter I wrote to me. Another mischanced opportunity for my princess in the sky. Oh, window, another bottle thrown in the sea. Another happenstance that frightened me, and my princess in the sky. How do we live when we know how to fly? All of your friendlier friends say bye-bye. The reason why is that you're 3 steps ahead of me. Yeah, you know what you know, but I only see what I can see. 3 steps ahead of me. Yeah, you know what you know, but it's gotta be what it will be. Thank you, new friends. The next tune is a cover that I turned into a ballad. I'm sure you're all gonna recognize it right away. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. I think I can make it now, the pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Look all around, there's nothing but blue skies. Look straight ahead, there's nothing but blue skies. Blue skies. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Here's that rainbow I've been praying for. It's gonna be a bright, sunshiny day. Thank you very much. It's such a joy to be here in this wonderful city, and thank you, Jessica, for inviting me.
Thank you very much. That was beauty, once again. Yes, where is the sound guy when I really need him? I know he's taking Polaroid snapshots, so beware. Anyhow, thank you very much, everyone, for coming once again to Macchiarini Creative Design. Dan, thank you very much. Everyone, thank you once again very much for being here. Please go check out the second drag show at Cafe Trias starting at a few minutes at 8 o'clock. Or you can check out any of the gallery shows at Live Worms, at SFOG, at Professor Siegel's Smart Shop. Or you can check out the music at Al's Attire or the music at Church Key 101 Music with the Kentucky Twisters right now. And Foreign Lens also has music. They have a dance performance and Coit Tower at 9 p.m. So enjoy the evening. Have a good time. See you next month, I hope. And the North Beach Festival is coming up June 17th and 18th. So hopefully we'll see you there for poetry here on this corner, as well as some groovy music.